I should
All
get
right,
it.
welcome everyone to another exciting, thrilling episode of the Vinyl Community Guncles. Episode 12, I think we're on now. I'm
Dear
Robert Fitton,
God.
along with Richard from Calvin Wazoo, Craig from Craig's Vinyl Plethora, and Mike from Hubtunes, who has the honor of choosing the last album that we're all supposed to review on the album review. We should just start with that because, I mean, what an exciting album. Pete Shelley's
Wow.
Homosapien.
Yes. Uh,
It is exciting.
well, I'm not going first, so
No,
you're not
I'm
going
going last.
first.
So
Yeah, the person that picks the album chooses whether they want to go first or last. Usually
So
it's
who
been
goes
last.
first?
I went first last time.
Oh, all right.
Well, I guess, I
You
mean,
This
can
is
go
going
first,
really
Craig.
well,
Go
guys.
first.
Yes.
Let's go
all right,
reverse order.
so,
yeah, correct.
I mean, I'm very familiar with the song Homosapien. I've heard it a lot throughout my life, but I've actually never listened to the album. So I was glad that you picked it because I'd always meant to. Then it turned into a frustration. Because we don't have the vinyl, and
Yeah.
everywhere online was the UK version, and you couldn't find like the entire US version anywhere online. We were actually missing a song that I believe not only myself hasn't heard, but I guess we can discuss that in a minute.
I
It
hadn't
was
heard.
a different lineup, and so I listened to, because it was the streaming service or whatever, I listened to the UK one. I listened to it twice before I realized that there was a different track listing on the
Yeah.
US version, and the only reason I realized that
I
because
did the same thing, by the way.
oh, did you?
Oh,
Um,
absolutely.
because I was like, I think I might want to get this, and so then I was like, I'm like, wait, this isn't. I looked at the U.S. version. I'm like, this isn't the songs. This is like, there's 3 songs on here that aren't on the one I've been listening to, and then again, they were in a different order, and
And did different
um,
order. Yeah.
yeah, so it's kind of hard to like really. So I guess maybe I'm going to combine them both.
Go with it.
And kind of just of course, Homo sapien, of course, a song that says homo over and over again. I mean, that you gotta love that. I know he's seen Homo sapien, but homo. um I really like that song. There's the third track is Love in Vain, which actually was the B-side for Homo sapien for the UK. it's not
Yes.
on it's not on the UK version. I don't like that song.
I didn't
Um,
like it. I'm sorry.
yeah,
I'm
no,
gonna keep my review to
you
me.
can try,
I'm
you can
sorry.
chime in. Um, yeah, I'm just, my notes are confusing me now. I don't know what it is. I really like that one. And then the Witness the Change, which is not, oh, he's giggling. Witness the Change, which is the B-side for that song. So it's all confusing. The sad thing about it is the closing track on the UK version is a song called It's Hard Enough Knowing, which I actually didn't know that I knew that song, and I actually do. And I really, 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 that was probably my favorite song on the entire thing. And so it was kind of sad that it wasn't on the US. This is just a hard one to review because of the differences. But overall, I think both versions I enjoyed. So I'm just going to give my rainbows on a combination of the 2 different versions, I guess. Which
Absolutely.
I'm gonna do 4. I really like. Buzzcocks is also another band that I've been wanting to get into my catalog. Unfortunately, I do not own anything, but this just kind of maybe pushes me a little more into looking into his catalog and to Buzzcocks. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. Less the confusion of like, what album am I listening to? So that's that.
Okay. Shall I go
Richard.
next then? Go around here this
Absolutely.
way? Or
Yeah,
this?
you said we were going
Yeah,
around the.
Yeah, this way. All right. I get confused here because whatever. I am easily confused. All right. And when I started listening to this album, thank you, Robert, for putting together that playlist because
Oh, yeah.
that really, really helped. I was shocked. I was shocked by that first song because I remember, the version from, this record. And I realized that they said, that it was a Pete Shelley song on this record, by Pansy Division. But I'm like, oh my God. And then I realized, oh yeah, Buzzcocks. And I'm like, it just blew me away because I didn't know any of this. I did not know any of this. And I love the song. I've been listening to it over and over and over again. I even found a 12-inch remix of it online that I was listening to that. So yes, it was great. And in the Pansy Division comment, they do write a comment that they said, we play it the way that Pete Shelley should have played it in 77, something like that, whatever. They're both really great covers. Yesterday's Not Here and Love in Vain. Oh man, they didn't do much for me. In fact, Love in Vain, I wrote down in my notes, a little much like Genesis and the Tubes got together to try and make a song. It just didn't seem to work. But then, bam, just one of those affairs. What a strong rocker. And I liked how he did his vocals and walked down the line, the notes. Like sometimes a guitar player will do walk down the scale. He was doing that while he was singing. That was really, really cool. Qu'est-ce que c'est que ça? Again, that was a song that, yeah. But then, bam, the next songs. I Know What It Is. My notes say, good driving beat. The Go-Go's strung out, recorded with Iggy Pop, circa The Idiot. I mean, it's just really good song. Witness the Change. That I wrote down. I wish I could hear this on a good stereo. I can tell it has a big, fat sound. But listening to it online, I really couldn't get that, but I could tell it was there. It was just really, really good. I guess I must have been in love with myself. I felt like this was another song that I really, really, it kind of grew on me. When it first started, I was kind of lukewarm, but it really grew on me. And I felt like he was like channeling David Bowie, circa Ziggy Stardust in a way. And then I Generate a Feeling. This was really interesting because the song seems to be mostly in like 6/8 time. But he throws in this measure of a 7/8, throws you off just a little bit for a second. So, you got the da-da-da-da-da, and then he throws in this extra beat. I thought that was really great. The closer, In Love with Somebody Else, that's the song that, doesn't really exist. I found by going to Genius Lyrics that they had it on there, but, I had to go through all the rigmarole to sign into Apple Music to listen to the whole thing. That turned into a giant chore, and I said, fuck it, because the 30 seconds that I listened to, I knew that, no, I don't like it. It was a little bubblegummy to me, but overall, because, by the way, it's 1981 when this was released, I would buy this for sure because of the strength of the other songs, and I give it 4 rainbows for sure because of that. I mean, there are these other songs that I don't really care for, but I can live with them because these songs that do really rock, they're strong. I really dig this album, and I had no idea about Pete Shelley. This was
I'm glad I pulled
an epiphany for me.
I'm glad I pulled it because it is one of my. I used to love this record. Years and years, I loved it. So,
since we don't know that last song, perhaps Mike could sing some of it for us, so we can get an idea of what it sounds like.
No.
Oh,
Damn it!
Sounded like a cat.
We'll do that. We'll do that behind us. We'll do that off camera.
but yeah, crazy about a song that I couldn't find anywhere. I mean, I'll talk more about that later. But yeah, that was crazy. But from what I heard, and I heard the UK version once, and I heard the U.S. one like a 2 or 3 times. So I don't really. I know there was a gangster, some kind of
Yeah.
a gangster something song on the UK one that didn't make the US one. I don't remember the rest of them though. But yeah, this whole album has a whole atmosphere to it. Again, just like I said last week with the Big Mama Thornton, it has a theme more than an atmosphere, I guess. This guy is seemingly on this quest to find a connection or his own identity or something like that through a lot of lyrics in his songs. And I thought that the music really went well with that, because I noticed with the exception of, I think, the first song where he backs himself on the chorus, maybe sounds like him anyway. There aren't any backup vocals. There aren't any kind of it's him alone. A lot of the times it sounds like he's just wailing to himself in a room, just trying to find somebody to connect with or whatever, like I said. But yeah, that kind of theme goes on through the whole album, so I could see why this is something that somebody could really, if they're, in a certain point of their life or whatever, really, really connect with this. And then the music is really kind of icy and cold, the whole album has that kind of cold, it's not a redeeming ending or anything. It has kind of that cold, it's definitely if from a time, was 82, it's definitely got that, he's right on that time. It's not like he's coming in too late with the sound or whatever. It sounds like he was right on the cutting edge, well, not cutting edge, but right on the right of that time. But yeah, the music is upbeat, but it's not happy. So that's the difference. It's again, it's not a happy album, but it's an upbeat music. And I love when a lot of times when the music doesn't, when songs lyrically don't match the feeling musically, and then there's that whole kind of contradiction. But yeah, I liked my favorite song was the one Richard was talking about, and now I don't have One of These Affairs, where he just decides to let completely go and just be all over the place with the vocals, and just, like I said, sound like somebody who's at that point just doesn't care at all. It's a weird thing, because to be so awkward and alone and trying to connect with somebody or trying to whatever, you still have to have the confidence to put out an album, with your name on it. So it's always that weird kind of paradox there. But yeah, I liked a lot of these. I actually like the Kase Kasa. What is that? What on earth is this? Is that what that means?
Yeah.
I thought that was the best lyrically, one of the better ones lyrically. Not a fan of Homosapien. Never liked that song. That's why I never listened to the rest of the album. I thought that was so that whole Homosapien, homosexual Homosapien. I get it. I thought it was so cheesy. But the rest of it is great.
Issues.
And like I said, it's not something I would listen to all the time, but it's something that I would have appreciated a lot more if I would have heard this when I was like 20. I could have really got into that more personally. But yeah, I'll give it 4 rainbows.
You just summed up what I think of this record. That last sentence that you just said, I would have appreciated it more if I knew about it when I was 20.
Yeah.
25, even 20s, later 20s.
So better this latent than never.
Exactly. So, you guys, thank you for listening to this and putting up with all the crap of the online UK and US versions. So this is Pete Shelley's his first debut. Did I just say first debut? His debut solo record.
I don't know.
So he was the lead singer of the Buzzcocks, and this is his first debut. I said it again. See,
I like it. They're all first debuts.
We're going
solo debut.
It's a new thing.
His second debut was 5 years later.
Oh, his second debut sucked. No, but Jesus Christ, you guys. Okay, so this is his debut solo record. He was the lead singer of the Buzzcocks. He was going through a lot after the Buzzcocks, kind of a punk band. I think most people would, when they hear the word Buzzcocks, they think of a punk band. They were a pop band. He wrote so many great pop songs. he had a knack for writing pop songs. Homosapien is a perfect pop song. Um, Yesterday's Not Here, my favorite song from this record, a pop song. This is basically his coming out record. He kind of just evolved in his life, in his personal life. He came out as pansexual, bisexual. I think to the end of his life, he was just identifying as pansexual. I'm not sure of all the definitions, but I think he kind of went as bisexual his entire life. And this is his coming out party, but it's not a party. You know, I mean, this album oozes 1982. It's got all the new age, new wave, everything of 1982 sound, and it's very upbeat. There's a lot of upbeatness to it, but if you really listen to the lyrics, it's not a celebration of his coming out. It's still a lot of questioning, and I always absolutely adored this album. I did not know this album when I was 20 years old I wasn't 20 in 1982, but I didn't discover this until probably late 90s and into the 2000s. We have discrepancies, obviously, with the track listing and everything. I love Yesterday's Not Here. It's the best song on the record. The Homosapien was a pretty big single. It was all over the radio. Love in Vain, boy, that's not a good song, and that's the third song on the US version. It's not the third song on the UK version. The UK version of this works a whole lot better.
Yeah.
A whole lot better.
Love in Vain's not on the UK one at all.
It's not even on there.
No.
Yeah. One of those affairs on the US version. I think it's later on the UK version. Just one of those affairs. Great
Yeah,
song.
it's the ninth song
so
on the
good.
UK version.
Yeah, it's like the ninth song. It's almost
Yeah.
like a throwaway track,
Yeah.
but it's the fifth song on the UK or on the US version.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. Jeez, I mean, it's a heartfelt song. I got notes. I took notes, guys. I took notes on
I did
the
the
record.
opposite. I didn't really take a lot of notes this time.
I took
so.
notes actually on a record I suggested. I never take notes on the shit you guys do.
Rude.
The title track, I'm sorry. You know what? It's Mama Thornton. I don't need notes. I Generate a Feeling, which I don't know. Is that on the UK version?
Yeah.
It's on
No.
the US version. It's the next to the last song.
It's the next to last song. I love that song.
Yeah.
But on the UK version, it's like
It's
the third
the
or
third
fourth song.
song. It's the
And
third song from it.
I love his vocals on that. I absolutely love his vocals on that. I just love his vocal style on that. I think it's really well done. There's a song called Keats Song, which is on the UK version.
Yeah, Keats
Not
song.
on,
No,
not on
it's
the
not on the US one.
It's
Yeah, that's
not
on
on the
the
US
UK
version.
one, yeah.
I absolutely love. I listen to a lot of this in my car, so I have the US version, but I was in my car, so I listened to a lot of it. I don't know what it is. It reminds me of Midnight Oil. It's just his vocal styling on that song. I absolutely love it. Hard Enough to Know and One of These Affairs. Great songs. And then Love in Vain and Witness the Change.
Yeah.
Witness the Change is the other US only song.
Yeah. They're okay. But I don't know.
So really, it sounds like if somebody wants this album, the general consensus is if you're going to go out and get this album, Pete Shelley,
You get
Homosapien,
both.
you want the UK one.
UK.
Because all the songs that
Yeah.
you're saying, with the exception of the one we haven't heard, we don't know, you're saying, I think everybody's in agreement, Love in Vain and The Change, whatever, aren't that good anyway. You probably want the UK version.
I would if you're going to go out and get this record, great record, UK version, 100%. 100%. And honestly, when I pulled this record and I asked you guys to listen to it, I had no idea there was that big of a difference between the two records. No idea. And then, when you get on Apple Music or anything, I have Apple Music because I don't pay for Spotify because they're assholes. But I sacrifice the quality.
Well, there's
because
other ones.
Apple Music sucks. But yeah, there are other ones, but I just went with the family plan.
Mm.
But yeah, and Apple Music is awful because you can't get half of what you want to listen to, and the sound quality is terrible.
No, I got the 411 on all those. Just basically dealing with that and researching or whatever from
It's
a
fine.
while ago.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah, they all have their advantages and disadvantages. But
absolutely.
Apple
Yeah.
is the only real advantage to Apple. You would use Apple if everything else you had in your life was Apple or or Mac or whatever, and you were the kind of a person who really wasn't too picky about what kind of music they were listening to. You just want to have something on. Just click a button, turn something on. That's who Apple Music's for.
Yeah, probably. Yeah,
So, Mike,
I
what do
agree.
you? How many rainbows do you give it?
Oh, I didn't give rainbows.
Mm.
I'm gonna give it. Craig, I can hear your like notepad.
Oh
Like
my note, yeah, I'm sorry. I gotta make sure I write
Court
everything down.
stenographer.
Hmm.
she's our stenographer. Um, I'm. I love this record. I really, really do.
Don't be
I'm
ashamed.
gonna. No, because I don't want. I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna give it 4 star or 4 rainbows.
Well, that's
Yeah.
what everybody
Yeah,
else gave
yeah.
it. I mean, that's
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Well,
that would have been
why would
strange had
why
you
would the
given it
person suggesting it not give it?
suggesting it,
Yeah.
giving it a
No,
lower
I'm gonna
rating
give
than
it four
everybody
rainbows.
else.
Yeah, I was the only one who did that with that Troy Sivan.
No, I was
Where
lower. Mine was lower.
yeah. Well, yeah, but yeah, I didn't let. I was looking at before we did this episode. I went and listened to Homosapien again and again and again, and I was looking at the comments on the particular one I saw on YouTube. I mean, I just wanted to read some of these. One comment: creating this took balls back in '81, both as a coming out statement and as a piece of electro rock hybrid music. Shelley is definitely one of the most interesting figures of the late 70s UK punk scene. Then another person wrote, brilliant song. Another person, melodically, this is just stunningly well written song. Really just amazing. Somebody who's like in our age group, 56-year-old, becoming an old man, was praising the song. And then I looked up on Genius Lyrics and a lot of the little inside things. Apparently, this was going to be on the fourth Buzzcocks album, but then the band broke up.
Yeah.
So he was, he used it as his title track in his debut album. And the green carnation that he's wearing is significant because apparently that was how gay men identified each other in the Victorian period. So there was he put a lot of thought into putting this record together, and not just with the songs, but also with the, artwork for the cover art. The
It's
BBC
not
apparently banned it too. They wouldn't play it.
not great cover art.
No, but there was some thought put into that, with him in that white suit. And I tell you what, he's a looker. If I had met...
It's a very handsome man.
Yeah, if I had met Pete Shelley, at that time, in 1981, I was, how old would I have been? 23 or 24, maybe somewhere around there. Yeah, I'd do him. So, I do like that song. It's on my want list.
As I said, I was randomly going through records, and he showed up, and I pulled that out, and I pulled it out probably for a reason because when he passed away a couple of years ago, I felt like people didn't, especially gay men, didn't realize. I mean, he was really important. I think he was really,
I had no idea
really
about
important.
him.
Yeah, and I nobody I knew even. I mean, he was identifying as bisexual and like pansexual in 1982, and he was in one of the biggest punk bands in the world. And yes, his career it waned in the later years, but he was really important, and I thought he had a voice, and I think this album really shows his voice. And like I said, it's not a celebration of being gay. It's still I'm questioning this. What am I doing? Am I bisexual? Am I gay? Am I pansexual? What is this? I mean,
Hey, it was
he's
the
got
80s,
all of
man.
that. Yeah, it's 1982. People, Devo was getting shit on because it was like, what the fuck is this? And we hadn't even had Culture Club. I mean, that was right on the horizon. But yeah, no, I think he took a lot of like chances that he didn't need to take because he was pretty well established, and also, like I said, this guy could write a fucking pop song like nobody. I mean, the Buzzcocks were not a punk band; they were a pop band
Yeah.
with
Power
an
pop.
edge. They really were. They were one of the first power pop bands. Yeah, absolutely, Richard. Yep.
Good stuff. So yes, it's definitely on my. I mean, I might even consider getting both the American and the
Well, I'm going to get the UK now.
the UK pressing,
now that I
but
know there's such a
right,
difference.
this is one
Yeah,
of
it all
those
depends
things.
on that last song. So we'll
Oh
have
yeah,
to.
tell us about the last song, right? Because we haven't
What's it
heard
sound
it.
like? What's it all about?
Is
Can
it
you sing a few
terrible?
bars?
What, in love with somebody else?
Yeah, we've never heard it.
No, it's okay. It's not worth buying the entire thing for, but I
Okay.
mean, but
To
yeah,
me, it was a
it's
throwaway.
fine.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's kind of a throwaway. It's not really anything I would search out. That's
it's
why I
getting
think
dark.
when I saw you guys looking for it, I was like, whatever. But I mean, the title kind of gives it away about what he's talking about and everything. And Craig, I mean, if you were saying earlier that Buzzcocks is a band that you want to look into, just get their greatest hits. Singles going steady.
Yeah,
That's all you need.
I have that one in their
Start with
first
that.
one, their
Start with
first
that.
debut. I have their
It
first
really
debut too.
Oh, their debut is great. Yeah.
Do you have their first debut? Oh,
Yes, I have that
Their
one too,
first
as well as
debut.
Singles Going Steady.
Yeah. No, grab a copy of Singles Going Steady, and that's really all you need. Yeah.
So now it's time for Richard to. By the way, that makes it 16. That puts it in a three-way tie now with Curtis Mayfield, Superfly, and Bob
We are
Seger,
all about
Night
three
Moves.
ways here on the Vinyl Guncles.
Yeah. Pete Shelley in a three-way with Curtis Mayfield
People
and
like
Bob
the racy
Seger.
stuff.
Ooh, that's kind of interesting. Kind of ew.
Kind of time for Richard to tell us what album we'll be listening to next.
So my thinking is I'm going to kind of do a back and forth thing. Oh, Craig's is like signaling. What?
Oh no, I was just saying it's a four-way.
No, he's just waving his hands.
It's
No.
a four.
He was doing
It's
jazz
a
hands.
four-way.
It wasn't like-
Pale Green Ghost was also 16.
Oh,
Oh,
so it's
yeah.
an orgy. It's officially an orgy now.
I'll drink to that.
All right.
I'll drink to anything.
Yeah.
Me too.
So-
Sorry, did not mean to interrupt, Richard.
No,
No, I mean I forgot about that. I didn't see that.
that's
It's right
important.
It's a great album.
My strategy now is I'm going to go back and forth. With I've been doing mostly suggesting very recent.
Wait, there's a
releases.
strategy?
Yeah, there's a
Yeah,
strategy. There's a method. There's a
Damn it, I
method
missed
to my
out.
madness. And so I'm going to go back in time, and then I'm going to jump forward again and go back in time. It's all going to be very purposeful.
Michael J.
And
Foxish, circa 85.
The one I'm going
Jumping
to
around the time.
recommend for you is Headhunters, Herbie Hancock.
Yeah.
That's the shirt I had on last week.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
Last week.
Boom,
So-
boom, boom. Boom, boom,
That's
boom,
my
boom.
recommendation, and then
Just
give
in
it a
case anybody
listen.
can't find Chameleon, that's what it sounds like.
I thought we weren't allowed to do jazz records.
That's not a jazz record.
It kind of
it's kind of jazz. It's kind of funk.
I'm not
It's
complaining.
a funk record.
Yeah.
I wouldn't walk around with a
Funk record?
jazz shirt.
No, they wouldn't. That's true.
But remember, there is a method to my madness.
Oh, shit.
The next one will definitely be a jazz record.
Great.
We'll just keep getting more and more into jazz. I never said we couldn't do jazz records.
I'm
Yeah,
pretty
you
sure
did.
I'm pretty sure when we
Yeah,
started
you
this,
did.
we all had our like
I
Austrian
asked. I said we're not going to
conversations.
have to
You're
talk
no
about.
jazz. No
I did
jazz
not.
at all.
I did not. I said we're not going to have to talk about jazz, are we?
That is actually what he said.
Yeah, it was a
Yeah,
question.
But what does that mean?
That means that we're not going to talk about jazz.
You can talk about jazz all you want. I'm here to learn
great.
too. That's
Well, I need to be learned
yeah.
on jazz too, but I don't know that I want to be. So
Yeah, it's,
This should be an easy one to find and
listen to
listen
one
to.
jazz
And
album. That's there you go. Instant scholar.
This is a funk album. You're right, Robert.
Yes, I could tell because I enjoy it.
never heard it, so it's new for me.
It's like
All
4
right.
songs, so it's very easy to navigate on the internet if you have to.
Yeah, and there's no other versions.
Yeah.
It's going to be the same 4 songs.
All right, Herbie Hancock, and that's what 1973.
2,
Oh, I was going to say later.
1973. Yeah, it is 1973.
Wow.
It's a good year.
It was a very good year. So we were talking about the whole thing with the UK and the US. That happened a lot, and
Yeah.
I used to get really tired of that because if you collected records and tapes, and then the CDs came along later, and you wanted to upgrade to the CD for whatever reason seems like it was always the UK version, and like your childhood memories were skewed. Like I remember one of the first ones. I pulled out some stuff here, like Culture Club. You were talking about Culture Club. This was like the American one. This was the one, very sentimental to me because this is one of my 14 for a Penny albums when I had it on cassette from Columbia House. And, the UK one has a totally different track listing, has a totally different cover.
Really?
I think it's the same photo,
Yeah.
but it's like yellowish. And
I-
Do You Really Want to Hurt Me is like the last song on it. It's the first song on here. That's how you start the album. It's not how you end it.
I think
Really?
it's like a pencil drawing, isn't it?
Maybe.
I know it's different because the CD has
This
that.
one there's 3 different versions of this in the U.S. alone. The U.S. is remixes. It's the same track listing, but these are different mixes than the UK version. The very first U.S. pressing has the UK mixes, and then there's a second pressing that has a few U.S. mixes put in, and then the third pressing has a few more U.S. mixes put in. So this
Really?
sounds
I did
different
not know
depending
that about that.
on what version you have, and of course
Because
with
I remember
CD
their first album is totally
Was the-
different in the UK.
Yeah. When the
And
CD
that's
for
their-
Rio came
and
out, they
that's their
used
best
the
album. I
the UK
love
one.
that.
This one was tragic because of the album cover. Tina Turner. Too bad it's covered with this big ass sticker. I always like this cover. And here's the UK version of that. And the CD and everything looks like that on the cover. And I just think that's just ridiculous.
I always
But,
say it's about the music, and that music sucks.
Track listing is totally different. Oh, there's some, Better Be Good to Me.
You don't
What?
like Tina Turner?
Wait a minute.
Private Dancer?
Better Be Good to
Yeah.
Me is on
You can
here.
put her right up there with Phil Collins in those years.
Oh my God.
Wow.
I really
Oh.
don't. I'm sorry. I just
Private
I
Dancer.
I don't think it
A
holds.
dancer for
Writ-
money. I'll do what
written
you
by
want
Mark
me to
Knopfler.
do.
So yeah, they
I'm not
changed
gonna be
covers
invited
around.
back next week, am I?
Here's the wonderful. This is another one that went through 3 different
Nick
mixes.
Rudo's
before
going to be
it was-
replacing me.
3 different mixes on that one before it hit the U.S. Metal bands, same way. Scorpions have different. There's a different guitar solo on the European version of China White than the U.S. version. This is completely different in the UK. It doesn't even it's not even called White Snake. It's called White Snake 1987, I think. And
I hate when Robert does his research for these videos.
just off the top of my head, Slide It In's the same way. Slide It In has a totally different mix in the UK than it does the US. And of course, it all starts with like the Beatles with the Help, and then the US Help with the totally different, the Kinks and the Rolling Stones, and all the European groups have completely
That was the first time-
different.
That was the first time I figured out that there was a different version, because I remember when I was a kid and my brother had Between the Buttons. And so I was listening to Between the Buttons, and then I finally get Between the Buttons, right? And I'm looking at and this is the UK version, and I'm looking, but where is Ruby Tuesday? Ruby Tuesday's not on there. No,
It's not
to
on
get
there.
Ruby Tuesday, I had to get
You have to buy
flowers.
flowers.
Damn, I'm gonna
Yep.
miss you.
And so then I was like realizing, holy shit. And then I began to be aware of, all right, with the Beatles, there was a revolver for the UK, a revolver for the US. There was a Rubber Soul for the.
There's
same
the
thing.
Beatles. It was every album.
It was
up
every
until-
Right, all the way
the
up
White
to
Album.
Revolver.
The first 5
Yeah.
albums.
You know, it was just like crazy, and I'm like, going, why are they? Why do they do this? Why do they think that there's that they need to rearrange the music for the American audience?
It was a different time. It was a
a-
different time.
A lot of it
Still is.
too is when the group became popular, like the Clash. You know, they became popular. They didn't really market them to the U.S. So by the time their first album came out in the U.S., they already had all these other singles, and that's a whole other thing too. Is the UK had a different? Well, that really was the heart of it. I'll finish the sentence eventually. What started all of it in the '60s was the UK is the way they handled singles. The UK seems to think that you have a single on a 45 and that's it. In America, you have a single on a 45, but it's also on the album. And there, that's where it all started with the different versions and whatever. But something later on, like The Clash, they didn't become popular in America. They already had 2 albums out. So their debut album is their second album, actually, in America. And, they already had these better, I guess, what they considered more contemporary, more current song. They wanted to put those on there, so then you have to take songs off, and then you have a completely different version. And
but then
you don't want the Clash down here written because that's not the way Americans sell records. You go like this in America, so the Clash has to be up at the top.
But then their first single off of London Calling is not even listed on the tracks in the US. Which was
I don't think it is in the UK either. It isn't anywhere.
I know. It probably isn't. Yeah.
Yeah, that was some kind of
me.
a trickery they were doing.
Well, that was
It
the
always
thing.
annoyed me with the Bob Dylan, too, and Positively 4th Street. You couldn't get that on any album, because it was a single. And they were playing it on the radio all the time, and...
Well, it was the single that was on that 67 Greatest Hits. That was you were supposed to go get that to get that song. Yeah, that was
which I have never seen a copy of that.
That's a whole other game too. And they come out with the greatest hits, and they put a new song on there. So you have to, if you're a fan and you've already got all the albums, you got to go buy the greatest hits too, because you got to get Mary Jane's Last Dance.
Exactly.
Even though you already got all the other Tom Petty albums. Yeah.
Bringing them in.
No, I mean, and that was the record industry in the late '60s and early '70s. I mean, everything was either a single or on an album. I mean, even the Mamas and the Papas. Can you name a Mamas and Papas album?
Yeah,
no, I
haven't
haven't.
Believe Your Eyes and Ears,
Deliver,
Goodbye to the Golden Age,
the self-titled one. The self-titled one.
Self-titled.
They weren't an albums band. They were a singles band.
I love their albums.
I don't know.
Name 5 albums off the top of my head.
Good name. I literally
Deliver. If you can believe your eyes and ears, the Papas and the Mamas. They have one called that. They have.
That's an original title.
The Golden Age. No, I showed this Tina Turner.
The debut is the only one I know.
Usually, it's understood why there's a UK and a US, and then when it's CD time and it's time to get legitimate, you just put out the UK one. But they did that with Tina Turner. She's an American. Well, she was an American at the time. Why do we get the UK version? I never understood that. Very strange.
They're doing it more. They've been doing it more recently too, because you had the XTC album of Skylarking, and the different versions of that. One with Dear God and one without Dear God.
I did a video one time of the best singles, like weren't on an album, best single tracks or one-off tracks, and somebody was like, "How can you miss the best single-only song of all time, The Smiths' How Soon Is Now?" I'm like, that's the second side of Meet His Murder.
Yeah, it's on
and I found out apparently it's not on Meet His Murder in the UK.
No.
So can you imagine that without How Soon Is Now?
I wouldn't buy it.
Pretty sure my copy doesn't have it.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
huh.
but it's on Hatful of Hollows, so like I don't really,
Yeah, but that's a whole comp of other.
Yeah,
I gotta check that out.
Yeah, UK US versions. And that one song we couldn't find anywhere. I don't remember the last time I could not find a song on the internet. I thought everything.
You couldn't find a song on the internet.
No, I couldn't find that
crazy.
Pete Shelley song, and
Right.
I don't
That's
remember the last time
nowhere.
that happened.
I did so many
And
searches
well,
for
at least
that, and the only way I found it was on Genius Lyrics. But like I told you, you only got to listen to like 30 seconds,
30 seconds.
of the song, and then you had to do the Apple Music, and that was an effort and futility. Even though I have Apple Music, I couldn't get it to work on Genius Lyrics for some reason.
I have Apple Music as something best whispered instead of shouted.
It's not very good.
My ears tend to go a little,
Oh.
But yeah, I don't remember the last time that happened. I mean, you think there's so much obscure like garage rock, and I mean, it might not be the best quality. It might be one of them things where somebody's got like the 45 playing on their stereo and their phone up to the speaker or whatever, recording it. But I've never, I don't. It's been at least a decade since I've looked for a song on the internet and have not been able to find it like absolutely anywhere. So another
Yeah, it is
argument
very
for
surprising.
Can't think of any.
yeah, it's another argument for having records and physical media.
Absolutely.
You never
Yeah.
know when
Or
this stuff's just
for
going to
getting-
disappear from the internet.
7-inch singles too. I mean, I've been really loath to start buying 7-inch singles because I just don't want to start going down that rabbit hole. But there
And
are
it
some
is.
cases where
I did it.
Yeah, it's for some songs,
Yeah.
it's you just want that song, and because the band really didn't do anything else. So
Yeah. I used to own like 16 jukeboxes, and I had them all curated to the year that they came out. So I went down that 45 rabbit hole.
Jesus.
Wow.
Oh, no, I was obsessed. You didn't want to know me. It was absolutely.
No, I want to know somebody with 16 jukeboxes in their house.
Well,
what the hell?
that's a whole different story. Yeah, no, but I
That's the
put-
story
you'd
for
have to
next
have
time.
I bet-
a house for them.
Tune in
How
next
in the
week.
world do you have 16 jukeboxes
Don't know.
curated?
Well, there was a.
I just
divorce.
did.
Okay, so my ex and I used to own a church parsonage, and we bought this old church parsonage that was. Is that my cat or yours, Robert?
It's this one.
So we bought this old church parsonage, and it was beat up. It was awful, and we gutted it. It was huge. It was beautiful, right here, right down the street, actually, from where I live now. And we bought this home, and we gutted the basement, and it was our playroom. We had pinball machines, we had jukeboxes. He was a player piano. I don't know why I'm doing that. But he
Not the
collected
kind of playroom I would probably create.
Yeah, that's the
Well,
kind of thing people
probably
dream
not.
about.
On next week, Richard will be talking about his playroom. So
It's the red room.
we had this beautiful basement, and you could just go down there, and every jukebox worked perfectly because I had them to all work perfectly. Like, it could not come in the house if it did not work perfectly, and it costs a lot of money, and all the records cost a lot of money, and then we got divorced. That's it.
Okay.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
I think the cat just
Is
wanted
that
to
the
hear
end of
that
this
story.
episode?
I started by I found the
The cat's like, "Yep, we're done."
that song "Walk Away." I think I talked about this before. The song "Walk Away, Renee" by the Left Bank.
Such a
I'm
great
just so
single.
obsessed with that single. So I went and
So
ordered
good.
it. It is such a wonderful.
Did that
pop
single
song.
come in yet?
It hasn't arrived.
You haven't got it. Oh, so you're
It's
just
not going to
down
come
anticipating.
until next week.
God, I had it on my '67 Seabird.
You gotta be careful with buying singles because you love the song, because something like it could be on like a styrene thing, or it could not sound good, or you might want to get it
Yeah.
on the album. That song you definitely want in mono. I would suggest the stereo
Yeah.
one is wonky on that.
What a
I
Like
can't
all the
remember
violins
which
are
one
on
it
one
is.
side, and it's just kind of like it kind of ruins it.
Well, now let me look and see which one it is, and because maybe you just like burst my balloon. I don't.
I hope so. That's what I do.
And
You
the
kinda
balloon
do.
burster.
I
It
turn
doesn't
smiles
say
into
if it's,
frowns.
it's the one on the Bam Caruso records. So
Oh, that's right. You said it was a foreign. Yeah, I don't know about that because
Yeah.
I was saying it was smash. If it's smash, it's probably styrene. But yeah, it's
Yeah,
it's a
that should
foreign
be good.
pressing. So yeah, that's all right.
That should be good. That's the one I had.
You had like original UK pressings in a jukebox.
Oh, I had.
How did you do that with a jukebox though? Did you have to
just got-
dunk? What do they call it? Dunkling or whatever?
Nope, it all fits right in.
Wow.
because isn't
I
that the
did-
reason why there's a
That's
spindle hole and then the big
insane.
hole?
You just cut.
Oh,
That's called dunkle. The UK people have a word for it when they put a hole in their 45s. Bigger hole. Starts with a D. It's called
Oh,
dockling.
hi.
Doggling or something.
Doggle.
What's
interesting.
happening? So yeah, so that was cool. And what's happening?
Nothing. Corey's home. And he's texting me while we're like videoing. He's like, I'm home.
Okay, so yes, I guess we need to move it along then. What?
No, we're all good. We're all
Is
good.
it time yet for what record would you pull?
Is it
Everyone's
time?
waiting. Everyone's
Anticipating.
waiting for this for years.
I know they're dying.
They don't have to wait anymore.
Are
Here
you
it
ready?
is. Yes. Wait a
All
minute.
right.
You never. Okay.
I don't want. I don't ever make what I just.
We don't. I don't know what this is going to be.
You
I'm
don't
ready.
know
I'm
what this
ready
is
for
gonna
it.
be. So, all right. So, here we go. I had to write it down because it's long, of course, because I have to have dramatic
God.
stories.
Please.
All right. So, you've got yourself a schoolboy crush, and you decide to write said crush a heartfelt letter, and describing your feelings, and you give the letter to your crush, and your crush reads your letter on the bus to everybody. And so you are devastated, and you go home at the end of the day, and you run into your house, and what is the song that you grab to feel that devastation?
All right.
You're welcome.
Are you kidding me?
I'm not kidding you. I have
I
to
don't.
have
I wouldn't do that though. I would play it
Yeah,
way
right?
cool. I'm not gonna. Hi. Why don't you just write a note that says, "Hi, will you kick my ass?" But before you do, tell everybody I'm gay.
Well, it was okay. All right, it doesn't necessarily have to because never mind. I'm going to explain in a minute.
So you're
All
just
right.
devastated. You're devastated
are
by love and looking for a
devastated.
song.
You are just
Hmm.
Oh,
life is over.
Wow. Oh my god.
oh God, I can't think of it. What is it?
Wait, I got real dark there for a minute.
Dark is good.
Oh, I'm back.
Welcome back, Kata.
I got one. Because I remember, I kind of remember like sitting in my room listening to this song over and over again. It's really not a. It's not a stretch for me.
Huh.
Wow, Richard's got something on clear vinyl.
Someone can go if they're ready.
Well,
No, we'll wait. Richard's ready. Look at that. What's that?
I got
Richard?
I got two options. I need to
I have
look up
two-
the
I have
lyrics.
two songs and they're on the same album, and I distinctly remember listening to this record over and over when I was
Oh my god.
7th or 8th grade.
Okay, I think we're ready to do this shit.
Let's do it.
Wow.
I had to bring some kind of attitude into this. Okay.
All right.
Where did he go?
No, I'm letting the cat into the room.
Oh, who let the cat in? Meow, 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 meow.
We
Sorry.
know
Cat feels
the
like it's
cat
missing
moves.
out. It's FOMO
Oh.
with the cat.
The cat. Hi, buddy. Hi,
Is it
buddy.
not your cat?
No, it's my cat.
Okay.
For the last 17 years, is my cat.
Hmm.
Hi. Do you want to get up here?
What's new, pussycat?
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Great.
What's new, pussycat?
Okay. Who's going first? I'm last.
Craig is drinking the same thing he was last week.
Yeah. It's so good I had to have it 2 weeks in a row. So good.
Well, I'll go
It
ahead
is
and start
free.
here. Well,
Sorry, yeah.
going
Let's
with Jet.
just do this.
There's two ways I could go with this. One is, ooh.
Kitty's
Is that your
singing
cat?
along.
Yeah, he's very loud.
One of the ways I could go is like that cat, the angry route. All right. In which case, the first song that popped into my head was Under My Wheels.
Alice.
So
Yeah.
from Killer.
Yeah, killer.
But then I started also thinking there might be another route to go, and that is from this album here, Violent Femmes. Why do birds sing? And the song is "He Likes Me,"
Like me. I don't
yeah,
like him.
because there's that whole conflicting thing going on, in there as he's going through the song. He likes me, isn't that nice? That's your brand new friend. He likes your old true friend. And isn't that the way that it ought to be? That your brand new friend, he has goodwill to send, and you're so free, and I am history. Yeah.
Likes me. I don't mind. That's a great album.
Yeah, it is.
I was very, very happy when that got reissued.
Yeah, I was looking for it for a long time.
It was the only
as
one I
well.
was missing, so.
That was the one on the clear vinyl because I had been looking for it for such a long time, and then they reissued it, and so I picked it up. So those are mine.
Who's next?
Next.
I'll go next. I got two songs from one album. The American version, No Reply, and I'm a Loser from Beatles 65.
I'm a loser.
I would
that
listen
song.
I would listen to No Reply, and then I'd be like, I'm a loser. And I used to listen to this record over and over and over again. It's kind of, it's one of what we were just talking about. It's a collection of UK singles. But man, I used to listen to this over and over. And I love the artwork on this. I love the photos.
Yeah, a lot of the side one is basically Beatles for Sale. It's in the.
It's Beatles for Sale.
Yeah, it starts the same
exactly.
way.
Yeah. No,
But what a 1-2 punch of it's a very melancholy side. Whether
it really,
that
really
or
is.
the UK one is very.
And it's just Lennon at his rawest. I mean,
the song after that
raw.
is the dead woman, dead woman that he's mourning. Baby's in Black.
Baby's in Black. Yeah.
So
yeah.
it just gets worse.
Honestly, I think some of Lennon's best work is on this. I mean,
I love the way that just starts with a vocal too. This happened once before. Yeah.
No, it's a wonderful record, and I don't know. People don't talk about it. It's never really ranked up in high Beatles records. But
right.
I think it's great. Absolutely wonderful.
Well, because nobody's ranking US ones is why.
No,
They're doing the UK ones all the time.
Exactly. Yeah. No,
So,
I used. Go.
What? No, I was just saying who's next.
You.
You.
Yeah, you.
Well, if that really happened and I was some younger person on the bus or something writing love notes, I would go home and listen to Melissa Manchester, Don't Cry Out Loud, just to remind you to, keep it all inside no matter how much. And then when it got to where I would be like, okay, you know what? This sounds ridiculous. I don't want to be like this. because listen to how cheesy this is. I don't want to be like that. That's when I would throw on the Johnny Paycheck with "I've Got Someone to Kill."
Wow.
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 Manchester.
So yeah,
I got no comment. I mean, the Melissa Manchester, I do, but you know, wow, Johnny Paycheck.
That's a cheesy. Yeah, if you just want to stop the tears, I would assume that would do it.
It would probably help.
Because, I mean, there's two ways to look at that. Do you want to listen to music to get you out of that mood and to put you into a different mood, or do you want to listen to music to wallow in the mood that you're already in and relate? So
it was all about wallowing.
Yeah, so wallowing.
All
was
wallowing.
All
it was
about
Manchester.
wallowing. It was all about
wallowing.
I mean, are you going to... If you're going to wallow... That's
well,
how you
yeah,
wallow.
I feel like I have a pretty good wallowing song. So, once again, based on a true story. And it was a girl that I wrote the letter to, by the way. And I was absolutely devastated. And I ran into my house and I grabbed my cassette tape because I didn't have the record at the time. And I put it on and I was crying and just the flowers... could have been so beautiful, could have been so right, could have been my lover every day of my life. Yes, Tiffany could have been. It said everything I wanted to say. It made me feel everything I was feeling. I even had my mother's flowers that I was holding and crying. It was tragic. It was just...
It was last weekend.
Yeah, it was like a couple days ago. Yeah, it was just like... Actually, it was like right before we did this video, but and I'm still reeling over it and very.
Are you okay? Do you want to talk about it?
Why
no, it'll be a very special Guncles episode.
Yeah. So when I had to be embarrassed on the bus. Really, was everybody's laughing and pointing, but I was like,
well, at least it was I thought it was a guy. You did like some bold move as a second grader or something, and
no boy crushes until I was in my 20s. So, I mean, I had crushes, but I'm definitely not where I grew up. I would not tell any boy that I had a crush on them, or even tell anybody out loud that I had a crush on a boy. So,
but I think that Could Have Been song. What a great pop song! That is such a I mean, for like a 15 for like a 12-year-old, 13-year-old girl. I remember when that was out. That was every time any of those girls had like a ish. I mean, that was boom. I got to go home and listen to that. Mm-hmm. Tiffany Could Have Been. Well, and then she ends it with "You can hold what could have been on a cold," like telling him off.
Cold and lonely night.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But she finds the courage to tell him off with the last line. She finds it in herself somewhere. It's a very inspirational.
In there,
she's not just wallowing after all. like Melissa Manchester.
Melissa just follows all the time.
Melissa's still wallowing.
I mean, that also brings up a good question: Debbie Gibson or Tiffany? Because there was the rivalry back in the 80s of which was the pop princess and which one was better.
I have an answer. I have an opinion.
I have controversy. I missed that one.
No, yeah.
I had no idea that was a controversy.
Really? Well, I was in junior high.
I thought the answer was Belinda Carlisle.
Well, but she wasn't
Samantha
a
Fox. Touch me now!
Yeah, but she
didn't say later. She didn't say think about it. She said touch me now,
right this minute. Yeah.
Now.
And then later, do you want to please me?
That is the best. Now. That's got to be one of my favorite 80s songs. I put that in my top 20 80s songs. Touch Me from Samantha Fox.
She's brilliant. And that album.
That's better than any Def Leppard.
Oh, totally. And Tiffany's the best, by the way.
No, Debbie Gibson, because I've dealt with both of them. I would say that Debbie Gibson, if you're going to hang out with somebody, if you're going to go like to Debbie Gibson's in town, and we're going to go out to one of Mike's concerts, and you'd rather go with Debbie Gibson than Tiffany.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, why are they my concerts?
Well, because you're always going to concerts, like a club concert, like an indoor club type concert.
Yeah, I'm not
So
going
I'm
to
taking
one.
you've met both of them.
No, they would be going to the concert with us. I'm saying you would rather hang
Oh,
out at a concert
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that, where it's a
Oh,
chill
okay, yeah,
concert. It's not a big
yeah.
band. Like I
I'm
said,
not
like one of
going
the
to them.
concerts you go to, where it's like not a huge arena.
Oh,
It's
okay.
not
So
a
I
big
don't have to
everybody.
go to the
Woo!
mall.
It's a chill out thing.
Hmm.
Who's with us? I would say Debbie Gibson would be better to chill out with than Tiffany.
Really?
Tiffany has a. I don't know if it's her, but I know that if you interview her, you're not allowed to ask her anything about the '80s.
Really? Because she's kind of
What?
embraced that now.
Oh,
What would you
well,
talk
it
to
must have
her
been the
about?
last year or so, because like right before the pandemic, it's probably about maybe a year or less than a year before the pandemic. No, you weren't allowed to ask her anything about her hits
What the fuck
or
would you talk to her about then?
what she's doing now.
Yeah.
And
I mean, yeah, ask her that. But
Again, what the
She's-
fuck would you talk
what
to her?
she's
doing
doing
some
now is
fashion
re-recording. I
line or-
think. Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
she
she's
has a place in
re-recording shit.
Nashville, and
Yeah.
but what she's doing now is re-recording. I think We're Alone Now for the 1700th time. She's countryfied it. She's
It's a
done
cover
dance
of
I
a
versions,
song
think
she
and it's
we're
did.
also
alone
a
now.
cover. Yeah. She's re-recorded that song at least 7 times.
Richard has a stunned look on his face.
Well, you're
Richard's
talking
frozen.
about
Oh no, he's not.
you were talking about concerts and all that, and that reminded me about the concert that Mike and I we're going to this Friday, and I just
We are.
checked.
Great segue.
Yeah, I was just checking my contact with the car seat headrest, and it looks like that show's going to be canceled
Really?
Oh,
because Will is still sick,
Sick
and
all week.
so I checked my email, and I haven't received an email notification that the show has been canceled. But I just got this message like an hour or so ago. So
I'm actually very much looking forward to it. I since you did that record review, I've been listening to like a lot of their other stuff, and I like their other stuff a lot more than the record you chose. Sorry, but
no, that's fine.
their album, Teens of Denial,
Yeah,
Teen of Denial.
Teens
That's
of
a
Denial.
really cool record. It's got like
That's
whole
a fan favorite for sure.
Oh my god, it's got like a good punky edge, and then there's a song I know on the record you asked us to review. That second song, I forget what it was, and I didn't like it because it was like a 10-minute song, and I was kind of like, oh, this kind of
Bodies?
meanders and everything. But then that song Vincent on Teens of Denial, that's a wonderful like 10-minute song. It's really really good.
Now, did you
They're
guys
an
ever
interesting
hear
band.
the other version of that album that I listened to like 3 times?
I have not.
Oh,
how did you do that on YouTube, or how did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, the
I
both
was on
versions
YouTube.
are available on YouTube. And
are you trying to tell me you don't have YouTube?
No, I do, but I don't listen to music on it.
Yeah,
Is that some
I'm
kind
with
of
you,
a
Craig.
rule that you have, or I mean,
No, I never listen to music on YouTube. Why would I listen to music on YouTube?
why not?
I just never.
This is too hard to find someplace else.
Well, I'm too busy watching you guys.
Yeah, I mean, if
Oh.
I'm like looking for like a song or like a video or something like that, maybe, but I don't listen to albums on.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I either stream them,
Never.
but again, I think I've mentioned this, but I don't really listen to anything but records.
Yeah.
Especially in my home. Like, I
Oh,
don't.
when I'm at home, I'm always listening.
Yeah,
to
I don't
records,
really
yeah.
have any other option to
Well,
listen
when
to. anything
when I get
else.
my new turntable, that I'll be listening to nothing but records for quite a while, I would assume.
Which you'll be reviewing next week.
Yes. Well, hopefully, I don't know. I mean, the cartridge still is not there, and
Oh,
the
really?
cartridge has to
Oh, dude,
arrive,
so
and then
late.
they have to do all their magic and their alignment and whatever with it, and all of that. So, I don't know. They're kind of waiting for.
You'll
a cartridge
have it by
that's
Christmas.
a pretty right. Waiting for a cartridge is a pretty common cartridge. It's an Ortophon. That's not exactly a thing that you're looking for on the mountain in Denmark or something, or
That would be
they
a
only
nice
make it
forever.
one place, 1 month out of the year. All right, so what do we do? That's it.
That's it.
Yeah,
Wow, that
and
hour
then
went by really fast.
Yeah, that was.
who has scenario next?
Me.
It's Mike
Mike,
with
yeah.
its
I think it's me.
yes,
Feels like it just happened.
alphabetically.
Damn it.
All right, thanks everybody again for joining us for a wonderful episode where we talked about what, 2 things, 3 things? We were in
getting
depth.
Yeah, we did all right.
That's what it
Yeah, we
is.
did.
We're
Well, that's
getting
not
good.
up to us. My goodness, let's know in the comments how we did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
please let us know.
That's true.
Give us a rainbow rating. What's your
Oh,
favorite
How
episode
many
so far?
rainbows are
How
we?
many rainbows are these faggots getting?
Thank you so much for watching. I'm Robert
I
Fithen,
heard that
along
one.
with. This is always the best part.
Yeah, Richard, you're next.
Okay, I
Richard.
thought we were going in alphabetical order, but I usurped it the
No
last
way.
couple of times. Richard
Oh.
at Calvin Wazoo.
Mike from Hubtoons.
Craig, from the plethora of me, Vinyl. Yes.
They'll never find that channel now.
No. Craig's Vinyl, plethora, or plethora, whichever way you like to pronounce it.
And I'm Robert Fithen, or Fithen, depending on whether
Jesus.
you use the romantic. No, that is. It's like a, what is that called? A tongue. When you the th is either soft or hard. Fithen or Fiven. Anyway,
Not Britain, though.
no, not Frithen. Who would say that? There's obviously
I'm
no
No one
R in
we
that name.
know.
Yeah, I'm out of here.
Thank you so much.
Come back, Mike.
I'm just going to leave these 2 alone and see what happens.
Oh, okay. Wait, where are we going? Well, or did we all leave?
Well, I think they all left, Craig. We could do
Wait,
our
so
own thing now with the
Richard
show.
Waldo.
We could
Yeah,
really
we have
take
our
this
own
off
show.
the
Let's
hook.
talk about Fithen's back.
Yes,
Where's
thank you
Mike?
so much for watching. Please consider subscribing and giving a thumbs up. Be wonderful if you did that. We'll
Yes.
join you next time. Thanks again.